Hello everyone, Jul here. Previously, we have talked about my top 100 best JRPG games of all time from 100 to 76. So of course, it's time for us to continue this series in this part 2 that is going to highlight my top 75 to 51. Knowing that it is based on my personal experience, I know that we will have a different opinion about some placements or game choices, and that is why I recommend you to watch this video more like a journey through various JRPG references than focusing on the ranking itself. Please note, even if this is a top 100 list, the game that I put in all of these parts are a very good game, so please once again do not get offended by the ranking. Speaking of JRPG games of all time again, of course there are lots of masterpieces in this genre that you might never played before. And I get it, it's not like buying all of these games at once is an easy task. Fortunately, instant gaming come with the best solution for my game purchasing problem. It has various kind of games, amazing deals, and that including the new games as well. Like these games for example, and look at these massive discounts. It makes my budget for one game resulting in a few if not sometimes dozens of games. So what are you waiting for? All you have to do is just click my link in the description below, start searching for your favorite games and enter the activation code to your chosen platform. Not only you will save tons of money, but you will also helping me to support this channel. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is a JRPG that takes a familiar spin on the traditional Monster Hunter gameplay by embracing turn-based combat instead of the usual real-time action. Like its predecessor, this game leans heavily into deep customization systems, an abundance of side activities, and a touching narrative. However, the core difference lies in your role. Instead of being a hunter, you step into the shoes of a rider. Riders focus on befriending monsters, creating a dynamic similar to Pokemon games.
My noble Einherjar.
Valkyrie Profile Lenneth is a game that rewards players who are willing to dive deep into its dungeons and explore every corner, although this often involves a fair bit of trial and error to uncover the best loot. After clearing a dungeon, you will usually get your hands on rare artifacts, which presents an interesting choice. You can either send these treasures back to Odin, earning a modest boost to your evaluation score, or keep them for yourself. And while Odin might appreciate the offering, the penalty for keeping these items is minimal, so more often than not, it's better to hold on to them. Octopath Traveler is a JRPG that takes the traditional turn-based combat that fans of 16-bit RPGs know so well and gives it a fresh strategic twist. Instead of relying solely on the classic RPG mechanic, it pushes players to experiment and master each character's unique abilities, items, and timing to outmaneuver enemies. The game's battles revolve around discovering and exploiting enemy weaknesses, but the way it integrates these mechanics feels deeper than the usual rock-paper-scissors approach. Even the smallest actions like using a wizard's staff to deal a tiny amount of damage become crucial when that action can break an enemy's defense.
Watch my back.
Tales of Vesperia is a game that scales back some of the more complex systems seen in newer Tales games and action RPGs, but it still manages to offer a satisfying and engaging combat experience. Initially, you might notice that the game takes a bit to fully open up, especially with the TP feeling pretty limited in the first act. However, once you push past that early phase, the game's pace picks up, and the interlocking systems of artists, passive skills, and crafting new gear surely will excite you even more. E7 is an action-packed RPG that once again follows the adventures of idol Kristin and his loyal companion Doggy. Though the game takes a little while to get into the thick of the action, once it does, it's a fast-paced, battle-heavy experience that fits perfectly with the game's design. And don't forget about the Falcom fantastic soundtrack that just makes the overall experience epic and exciting. Xenoblade Chronicles X is an ambitious RPG that tells the gripping story of humanity's desperate fight for survival after being caught in the middle of a galactic war. In this game, you control one character in a 4-person party, and the fast-paced mix of real-time attacks and cooldown-based abilities will keep you hooked. The AI-controlled teammates are responsive, and their actions often set you up to use complementary abilities. Instead of settling into a repetitive routine, the system encourages experimentation with different moves, making each battle feel fresh and exciting.
Look at this sitting down.
Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix is a solid collection that brings back the beloved series with enhanced visuals and additional content, but it may not be a must-buy for everyone. That said, the inclusion of super bosses and the higher difficulty settings introduced in these versions definitely adds a welcome layer of challenge, making the game more engaging for veterans. So if you haven't played the PS3 ports, this collection is an excellent way to experience the Kingdom Hearts series. The graphics are noticeably better and the game holds up well, even if the gameplay feels a bit dated compared to modern standards. Front Mission 5 is a tactical RPG that introduces several improvements over its predecessors, making it stand out as the most polished entry in the series. The game features the best 3D graphics in the Front Mission series, with all cutscenes animated in real time rather than relying on static portraits. There are also some new gameplay features like a challenging roguelike dungeon mode and an AI-controlled arena mode. On top of that, the game offers a large roster of optional pilots you can recruit from different military bases, allowing you to customize your squad to your liking. Final Fantasy XV is an action JRPG where the combat is a major shift from the series' traditional turn-based systems, now embracing a fully real-time approach. It might not feel like the classic Final Fantasy experience, but the way its combat makes you feel like part of a team is a highlight. Successful flanking maneuvers are rewarded with powerful attacks, and timing a companion's special move perfectly can lead to some spectacular moments. Sure, it might not always hit the mark in terms of story, but its focus on the bond between its main characters and open-world experience gives it a heart that keeps you invested.
You ready?
Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn is a sequel that picks up where Path of Radiance on the GameCube left off, offering a direct sequel that revisits the same world but with a fresh perspective. Gameplay-wise, the core of Radiant Dawn sticks to the classic Fire Emblem formula, turn-based strategy on a grid where each unit has its own unique abilities, movement range, and attack styles. Moreover, if a unit falls in battle, they are gone for good, which raises the stakes and forces you to plan your moves carefully. Shadow Hearts Covenant is a game that masterfully blends elements from various sources to create a turn-based combat system that's both interactive and strategic. At the heart of the combat is the Judgment Ring, a mechanic that sets this game apart from other RPGs. Whenever you select an action, you're presented with a circular roulette-like wheel. This wheel has a constantly moving target needle, and your goal is to stop this needle at specific hit zones by pressing the X button. Nail the zones accurately and you will score successful hits. If you miss, well, your turn's effectiveness can be severely compromised. Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria is a JRPG where the battle system gets a complete overhaul, transforming into a 3D format that introduces a dynamic and strategic layer to combat. Players can now freely move and dash around large battlefields, adding a tactical element that wasn't present in the first game. Positioning becomes crucial, as attacks from the side or rear of enemies deal significantly more damage than head-on assaults. This change encourages players to think critically about their placement on the battlefield, making each encounter more engaging. Disgaea 2 is a turn-based RPG that maintains the turn-based grid-style combat that fans of the series know and love. If you're unfamiliar with the first game, the core gameplay revolves around moving your characters across a battlefield that's often crisscrossed with geopanels and geosymbols. The twist here is that you can target and destroy these geosymbols to remove the effects from the corresponding panels. Doing so can also inflict damage on any character standing on those panels and may even change the color of the panels, which adds an extra layer of strategy to the battlefield. Jeanne the Arc is a tactical JRPG where the battle system is more unique than your typical tactics game. Unlike many strategy RPGs where characters learn abilities as they level up, this game introduces a unique system involving magical items called skill stones. Red stones are all about class-specific attack abilities and finishing moves, while green stones offer magical powers like casting fireballs or lightning bolts. Purple stones give class-specific skills such as countering melee attacks, and blue stones boost stats like attack power or hit points. This system is incredibly flexible, allowing you to customize each character's skill set before every battle. Trails in the Sky III is a JRPG that sticks to the tried and true battle system from the previous games, pitting your party against various monsters in the mysterious realm of Phantasma. As usual, you can go with a standard attack, use an art for magic-based damage, or tap into a character's special skill known as a craft. What makes this entry unique is the fact that you will have more characters than the previous titles. You will discover lots of side stories about the world and also interesting character development from the characters. Ys Origin is a game where the boss fights are a masterclass in creative game design. It blends various challenges like memorizing attack patterns, navigating bullet hell sequences, and hunting down hidden doppelgangers. Each time you step into a boss room to face a towering demon, there's an incredible mix of determination and excitement. And the moment you finally bring one of these beasts down, the sense of accomplishment is immense. This is the kind of design that other games should take notes from, as it makes each victory feel truly earned and satisfying. Nier Replicant is an action RPG that has definitely received some upgrades in the combat department, making it feel more polished compared to the original. The influence from Nier Automata is evident, with the combat system now allowing a seamless flow between weapon attacks and spellcasting. In the original game, you had to stand still to charge spells, but now you can move freely, charge spells, and even cast them in the middle of an attack.
Others are surely lurking nearby.
Symphony of War: The Nephilim Saga is a fantasy tactical RPG that focuses on squad customization. Each squad can have up to 9 units in a formation you create on a 15-square grid. While other games often highlight individual characters, here only the most powerful heroes can solo an enemy squad. Instead of tweaking individual stats, you build and adjust squads around their leaders. The loop of managing your army, fighting, and then managing your army again is well executed, which makes this a perfect game for tactical RPG fans. Tales of Vesperia is an action RPG where the combat centers around a soul's gauge that functions like stamina. This gauge depletes as you attack, and dodging at the right moments increases the number of available souls. With that in mind, you will spend these souls on more powerful attacks. You will quickly advance from basic attack patterns to chaining 50 or more moves together, switching out characters to juggle combos, and figuring out which characters works best in various situations.
Come on, put up some fight, okay?
While Ys 9 is not as charming as Ys 8 in my opinion, it still offers a solid Ys experience. For fans of Musou games like Dynasty Warriors, it delivers a similar combat style with lots of hacking and slashing through waves of enemies. The combat isn't particularly deep, but it still gives you room to execute cool combos by utilizing skills from each character. And while it doesn't provide the intense difficulty of a Souls-like game, the higher difficulty levels will push you to learn enemy patterns and make the most of the satisfying flash guard parry. As Library Vision is a 2D side-scrolling RPG that emphasizes a satisfying and complex combat system. You start off as a basic character wielding a stick, fighting simple slimes, and as you advance, you unlock a magic system that adds a strategic layer to the gameplay. You can pause the action to input directional commands and unleash powerful special attacks that consume your stamina gauge. This feature not only boosts your offensive capabilities, but also provides crucial invincibility frames. Final Fantasy IX is a JRPG that blends nostalgic elements with familiar gameplay mechanics. The game features a party size of up to 4 characters and employs a 5-slot equipment system similar to classic games. Summons, known as Eidolons here, are handled in a way that recalls the Espers from Final Fantasy VI, and while the characters each have their own personal stories, they also fit into familiar archetypes like Summoner, Black Mage, Knight, and many more. Is the Oath in Felghana is a title that continues its tradition of tight and exhilarating gameplay, building on the excellent foundation of its 6. The game maintains a 3/4 overhead view where Eidol navigates various areas and engages in swift, satisfying swordplay. As usual, defeating enemies will grant experience points and valuable drops like herbs and potions, which provide immediate benefits such as increased defense, attack power, or magic restoration. Additionally, the game features an experience multiplier that increases with consecutive hits, encouraging players to stay aggressive in combat to maximize their rewards.
Here we go!
Tales of the Abyss is a title that introduced me to the series, and I have to say, till this day, this is still the best game in the series for me. The gameplay might not be the best in modern standard, but I would say it is still enjoyable enough as you have a lot to play with, like various artists, FOV element mechanics, and of course overdrive feature that leads to mystic artists. That being said, the best element for me is definitely the story. There's a lot of plot twists here that's just rarely seen in the other Tales games, which in my opinion makes the story more rich and rewarding. Valkyrie Chronicles is a tactical RPG that uses a turn-based system while also implementing action sequences for movement and combat. The top-down map view lets you see your units and visible enemies, and when you select a unit to control, the camera shifts to a third-person perspective behind them. This view is crucial for the real-time elements of combat since you will navigate your soldiers from cover to cover to gain an advantage over enemies. And when you engage in combat, you switch to aiming mode, which pauses time and lets you line up your shot before the attack is executed. Alright boys, I think that's it for today. I know that there are other great JRPG games that I haven't mentioned yet, so how about sharing your best JRPG games that probably deserve a spot in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss another great list. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Peace!
Shall not get away with that! Shall not get away with